And welcome to the Thunderdome at UC Santa Barbara for another edition of our Inland Sports UCR pregame show. Geoff Gorham, I'm Pep Fernandez. And Geoff, the fans are beginning to file in here. We saw this place just the other night against Cal Poly. Granted, that's their big-time rivalry game for the Gauchos, but this place was absolutely full to the brim.
Yeah, and in fact, I was once a spectator here in 1988 when they probably had their best season ever when they upset UNLV right on this court. And I'll tell you what, I've never seen a college basketball game quite like the one I saw here at the Thunderdome. In fact, everybody threw tortillas after the very first basket of the game. There was thousands of them. They took the technical foul, but they also went on to beat that great Jerry Tarkanian team in 1988.
So that was a real thing, the tortillas.
Yes.
That was a real thing.
Yeah, a real thing. It was awesome. But I think they got a technical foul every single time. And I'm sure that the head coach at the time, Jerry Pym, wasn't too happy about it because you always start in the hole 2-0 starting the ball game.
Yeah, always a two-point advantage.
Always a two-point advantage coming in here.
For the visiting team. But tonight, it's UC Riverside taking on UC Santa Barbara, the first road game in conference play here for the Highlanders, coming off a very tough home loss inside the SRC Arena against Cal State Northridge. Geoff, it was a one-point game. It came down to the final shot. Dikembe Martin had a shot to win it. It did not go, so they fall to 0-1 in Big West Conference play against a very much improved Cal State Northridge team, but also a very winnable game that UCR kind of let the Matadors off the hook.
I will say this. That was a game they should have won. They played probably the best half of basketball we've seen from the Highlanders all season long. That first half was a great testament of how good this team could be, but they showed their youth, they showed their inexperience. And the second half, remember, they turned the ball over 4 out of 6 times in the beginning of that half, and the lead was decimated. And Northridge just came out, and they had 3 guys that just played out of their minds. The Highlanders came up just a bit short.
And for UCR, obviously, Dikembe Martin had a huge game in that one. The supporting cast there, we've talked to David Patrick about it quite a bit in terms of who's going to help carry the scoring load. But when we asked Coach Patrick about it, and you're going to hear from him in just a moment, it wasn't so much who's going to help score, because they scored 83 against Northridge. They're scoring this season. That's the problem they had last year. They can score this year, but it continues to be rebounding and playing defense.
Yeah, rebounding, especially giving up second shots. Giving up those offensive boards can be devastating to a team, especially when a close game. And it also makes you feel a little down when you're playing hard, great defense, and you give up second, third shots. The confidence level drops, and that's kind of what happened, I think, versus Northridge.
Well, for UC Santa Barbara, they are off to their best start in 30 years. They are 12-3 to start the season. Geoff, 1988 was the last time they had a start such as this. They're undefeated here at the Thunderdome, a perfect 8-0 this year. This is never an easy place to play. In fact, we've got people that we trust with our own lives that have told us that UCR has never won here at UC Santa Barbara,
he said,
ever.
In the history of the earth, as what we are told, they have never, UC Riverside has not won here at the Thunderdome. They have not won on their old small court or any other rec gym in Santa Barbara. Riverside has never beat the Gauchos here.
So the Highlanders have a couple wins all time against Santa Barbara, but they've come back in the IE, back in Riverside. But in terms of playing here on the road in Santa Barbara, UCR has never won. And hopefully tonight's the night, but man, it sounds like it's going to be an uphill battle just for the simple fact is the Gauchos are playing their best basketball in 30 years, and they're undefeated here on their home floor.
I'm not going to say it's a team that is good as that team 30 years ago. Their schedule is, I've looked over, their biggest signature win is probably versus the University of San Francisco, who right now sits at 14-3 in the West Coast Conference. But hey, anytime you can go undefeated at home, you're going to be a good team. They've got grad transfers. They're very athletic. And their playmaker from the last 2 years, Max Heidegger, is just back in his 7th game of the season. He is an electric player.
Yeah, he's right in front of us right here. Yeah, he was their leading scorer from a year ago, and he's only played in 4 games so far. Armand Davis has been the leading scorer for UC Santa Barbara so far at 14 a game. They proudly have the banners here, Geoff. They love their tradition here, their legendary coaches, their legendary players. I think we counted, 6 NCAA tournaments?
6 NCAA tournament appearances. And like I said, some great players. Brian Shaw, probably the most notable. But I also named my son after a player from here at UC Santa Barbara. Connor Henry.
Man, he was a great player.
Great player, left-hand, played in the NBA for the Houston Rockets. But, yeah, growing up, I always wanted to have my name Connor, so I decided to name my 12-year-old. When he was born, I said, I'm going to name him after Connor Henry, the great player here at UC Santa Barbara.
It's going to be a fun one if UCR can rise to the occasion here and play in a very tough place against a very good team in UC Santa Barbara. We caught up with head coach David Patrick at the morning shoot-around to get his thoughts on today's contest and trying to get a big West win on the road. And welcome to the Highlander pregame show here as UCR getting set to take on UC Santa Barbara. First road game of the Big West Conference slate. Coach, man, this is a tough place to play, the Thunderdome. Geoff and I were talking about it. UCR, from our knowledge, has never won on the road here at Santa Barbara. So maybe tonight's the night, though.
Hopefully it is. You know, we've been playing better on the road, but like we said, we haven't won a true road game yet. Obviously, we won a neutral game before, but it's the Big West Conference, and it's another great challenge for us. I think, as you guys have been a part of, we've been in every game on the road. It's just whether we can push through, and especially some place like here, you got to push through against a really, really good team.
Well, UC Santa Barbara off to a 12-3 start, best start since like 1988. So they're playing very well. You guys were in that Northridge game in your Big West Conference opener. Probably could have, should have won that one. What was kind of the message to the guys as you kind of hit the reset button a little bit and try to regroup for this tough road game?
Look, I think we're a young team, you know, and if you look at it, I think we're 329th in the country in experience. So what I told our guys was, you're up 10 points, up 7 points. You can't take your foot off the gas. You know, you have to keep putting your foot on the gas, and we did that Wednesday night. And to Northridge credit, they turned up the heat, and we didn't respond in a timely fashion. Obviously tonight, this is a senior-laden crew we're playing in Santa Barbara with their transfers and whatnot, and they've got great experience. But if we keep the rebounding margin even like we did on Wednesday night, we have a chance. You know, you see Santa Barbara's +10 on the boards on the year, so they do play physically. If we can negate that, then we have a chance here tonight.
All right, so that's head coach David Patrick here at the morning shoot-around, talking a little bit about the Gauchos. You can see the complete interview, at least hear it, in our preview show when we go live at GoHighlanders.com for UCR and UC Santa Barbara. The Highlanders trying to get their first road win in Big West Conference play tonight against the Gauchos. Geoff, a lot of tradition in this place. It's going to be a big crowd. UCSB is coming off a big win against Cal Poly, so you know they're riding high. This feels like an uphill battle for a lot of different reasons for UC Riverside. But sometimes when all the cards are stacked against you, that's when you can maybe come out and play your best.
Hey, they're going to win their first game ever in the history of the earth here at Santa Barbara, and they're going to go 1-1, I'm hoping, getting into here in the Big West Conference play.
It's going to be a fun one. Listen to the game live. Geoff and I will be on GoHighlanders.com in just about, almost 10 minutes now. In about 10 minutes, we will go live with our pregame show, and then we'll go right into the game shortly after 7 p.m. here live in Santa Barbara from the Thunderdome on the campus of UC Santa Barbara. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the Inland Sports YouTube channel. Also follow on Twitter as well. And if you're a local business that would like to advertise on the local sports leader, hit us up. The email's been flashing across the bottom of your screen right there, inlandsportshow@gmail.com. For Geoff Gorham, I'm Pep Fernandez, and we will see you over at GoHighlanders.com for the live call of UCR taking on UC Santa Barbara. The Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Spoiled. Quick, quality oil change. Spoil yourself and your car at Spoiled. Kin Sporting Goods. They have all of your sporting gear needs, Letterman's jackets, and team uniforms. Catalano Motors in Corona off of Temescal Canyon Road. You're going to save thousands of dollars at Catalano Motors. And Boost Performance Training with Coach Ray Bass. Athletes of all levels and all sports are going to Boost Performance Training in Corona.